Hey YouTube. So today is the big day that I have finally crossed 400 miles in my On Cloudultra 3 trail running shoe. So I figure what better opportunity to do a 400-mile long-term review for these things. And we're even going to do it trailside. So yeah, this is my very unscientific, unofficial, unsponsored review of the On Cloudultra 3s. These things have carried me through the Monument Valley 50K, the Antelope Canyons 55K, and the UTMB Canyons 100K. Also, just all sorts of training runs in the Eastern Sierras in California. And on top of that, they're also just my daily wearers. I wear them every day. For the stats nerds out there, they've got a 32mm stack and a 6mm drop. However, with mine, I've put in some arch support insoles on them, so my drop's probably actually a little bit higher after doing that. My previous shoes before this were the On Cloudultra 2s, so that's going to be mostly what I have to compare them to. Over the years, though, I've gone through 4 different brands of trail running shoes, including Brooks and Ultras, but these have really worked the best for me. They've got a pretty nice wide toe. However, compared to the Cloudultra 2s, these have a much narrower midfoot, which I do find a little bit irritating. I get a little bit of rub on the inside of the shoe. But with a good pair of thick socks, that hasn't been a problem. I did the Canyons 100K with a nice thick pair of Injinji toe socks and didn't have a single blister the entire time. Also, compared to the Cloudultra 2s, the tongue is not quite as integrated. It's not quite as sock-like. It can move around a little bit more. Honestly, I prefer the more integrated tongue. I think it feels a bit snugger. The Cloudultra 2s were a bit more like wearing a sock. Also, the Cloudultra 3s have switched to chevron-shaped lugs instead of the square ones, which provide probably a little bit more grip. And here you can see the wear pattern over 400 miles. I've definitely worn them down quite a bit, especially in the heels. I definitely have a heel strike pattern. The heel cups are also a bit thicker than the On Cloudultra 2s. Despite having worn through a little bit of layering on them, I've never actually had an issue from that. I've never gotten any blisters or heel rub or anything. Once again, possibly attributed to a good pair of running socks. And then the mesh material over the toes and the top of the foot is also a bit thicker and more sturdy than the On Cloudultra 2s. Which overall is a good thing. It's still a mesh though, so you're gonna get some like super fine moon dust and stuff in there over the course of a really long run, but nothing large enough to really be a problem. However, the thicker material on the mesh has caused one problem that may be unique to me, and only on my right foot. So this is my right shoe. You can see I've actually had to cut a hole here in the toe. And this was for one very specific reason. On really steep climbs, if you're kind of up on your toes, climbs that are too steep to really take flat-footed or anything, the way that the material bends with the thicker mesh, it really kind of pressed against my pinky toe, and over the course of a long run, that would kind of become a problem. The folds of the material would bend inwards and press against my pinky toe. And it doesn't quite happen as much on the left foot, so that could just be something specific to me. So after 400 miles, there is not a whole lot of wear and tear to speak of, to be honest. I've got a bit of foxing around some of the edges and stuff here, and on the edges of the heel cups just a little bit. The padding's held up really well for a medium padded shoe. I think On makes an even more padded shoe that I, quite frankly, have just not tried. The rubber on the soles has held up really well. Nothing's delaminated at all. The lugs are still generally doing all right, except for my heel. Those are almost gone, but that's just because I have a pretty bad heel strike, I guess. The toe protection's pretty decent. I've smashed my feet into tons of rocks over the miles, and those have not worn through at all. So yeah, overall, these are a very, very comfortable shoe, especially for long runs. Very confidence inspiring on technical terrain, downhill technical terrain especially. So really my two main critiques would be, even though the mesh is a stronger, sturdier mesh, the break-in period with the outside edge of that foot was a little weird for me, so I did have to cut that hole. After I cut the hole though, no problems at all. So I don't know if anyone else has had that problem or not. My second critique is I just wish the tongue was a bit more integrated like the Cloudultra 2s, and I'll get a better angle of that on some B-roll or something. But the Ultra 2s, they really felt like I was wearing a shoe combined with the sock. It was really nice. So here's a different angle without undoing the laces of the way the tongue is attached on the Ultra 3s. You can see it's attached at 2 points on the left there and on the right, and then obviously way down at the base of the tongue, unlike the Ultra 2s, which was attached kind of as a single piece of fabric along the entire top of the foot. That being said, this is still integrated pretty well. This tongue doesn't move around side to side at all, really, like a lot of other shoes will. So yeah, very solid shoe. I will definitely continue to buy these once I get a few more miles out of these. That being said, I did buy the last pair of Cloudultra 2s that I could find, because once they started making the 3s, unfortunately they discontinued the 2s. So I did stock up one last time on the 2s, so those will be my next shoe rotation. Otherwise, I will happily be buying these again.